do you set yourself game goals? And it's a little bit probably, as I think about it, like 2K has achievements. And sometimes the achievements when I play 2K are a bit ridiculous, in all honesty, and maybe they're not so important. But it's a similar sort of concept, and it's a similar sort of mindset. We talked about warming up and preparing your mind for a game, leading to those situations. But what do we think about? Do we think about as a player, what am I going to do in this game? I'm going to score 20 points. Am I going to score 20 points and grab 10 rebounds? Okay, I'm going to make all my free throws. So what does that look like? Okay, what does that look like? And obviously you've done all the work throughout the week shooting free throws, you've done all your practices, you've done all your shooting as much as you can, all that sort of stuff. But there's nothing more valuable than having the right mindset of visualizing what you're trying to achieve in a game. And I think it's not something that's often talked about or coached or taught maybe, but it can have huge positive aspects to the output that occurs when you are in a game situation. So even just visualizing those free throws that you're supposed to, you will shoot, that you want to shoot during the game. Okay, I think, and how you're going to obviously, get that follow through, how you're going to get that ball rotation, how you're going to go through your routine and all that sort of stuff, and ultimately how you're going to see that ball go into the ring, as many times as possible during the game. These sort of mindset things, I think, really do help you take your game to the next level. And one of the most simple ones is that sometimes players that, often don't score too much, okay? You go to them, hey, I'd like to see you score a bit more. Maybe you say, I'd like to see you score 16 points this game. And they go, man, how am I going to score 16 points? That's, I usually don't even score 10. Yeah. But if you think about this, if we're playing 4 quarters, obviously, which we'll play on a Friday night at the rep level, that's 2 buckets. That's 2 buckets a quarter. And I get it. You don't always get minutes every quarter. You don't get the same minutes every quarter, but that's 2 buckets a quarter. If you can set your mindset to getting 2 buckets in a quarter, that's 1 bucket. Let's get 1 bucket, and then let's get 1 more bucket somewhere in that quarter. And you do that for 4 quarters, you've got 16 points. That's it. And if you can do that on a fairly consistent basis, and you said that earlier, Nick, that sometimes you'll have bad days and sometimes you'll have better days, that you'll be able to get double digits more often than not. But you're going to have to put yourself out there. You're going to have to shoot those shots, okay? And you're going to have to set yourself the right mindset to be able to achieve that sort of goal. And whatever that goal is, whether that's getting 16 points or making your free throws or just making those sort of plays to help your team win. Think about it before a game. I think that's really important.
I think it's the game within a game, because sometimes, especially if you're noticing that you're more advanced than the other people you're playing with, it can get a bit monotonous, right? So I personally have played in grades that are below my level, and it becomes very much like I'm getting a light jog and I'm scoring 20 points. And if you've been productive with that session, well, is this a chance that I only score with my left hand? This is probably more like elaborate stuff, but do I want to do a couple of post-ups? What do I want to challenge myself in this game to keep stretching, right? Because ultimately you want to have specific goals, right? So we don't want any of this stuff where it's like, oh, today I'm going to play hard and win. Yeah, like that's not measurable. We actually don't know by the end of the game if you did either of those things. Only you do, and really that's not the intent of the goal. You would like to be able to articulate your goal to your coach. You would say, coach, today I would like to get 1 defensive stop, or I'd like to get 4 free throws, or I'd like to get 10 points, or I would like you to tell me how I did with my defensive footwork. Because sometimes the goal doesn't have to be internal. Sometimes externally you could ask for it, or you could get it provided to you. But these goals help you along the way. All right. And we'll throw it back to the very first thing we talked about, left hand, right? Or your offhand. A lot of the time, maybe one of your goals is, I would like to score 1 layup with my offhand, or I would like to dribble with my offhand. And that goal could be as simple as, when I bring the ball up the court and there is no defensive pressure, I just dribble with my left hand for a little bit just to get the rhythm in. Or it could be, as elaborate as, every time I drive to the key, I'm going to be using my left hand. Ultimately, it is up to you. But if you did that every single game you played, right, and you're playing 1 or 2 matches a week, or you're doing 100 matches a year, or whatever it may be, those mini goals will have results.